Hello, welcome back. This is episode 3 of Hylian Home Companion. And this week, in response to the many hurricanes that we've had in the last couple of weeks, we had Harvey over in Texas, Irma is in Florida. I have no idea what Jose is doing. With luck, nothing. Just churning out in the Atlantic. Katia in Mexico. It's been a mess. So this episode only is going to be a themed episode. We're doing some storm stories because I have had much encounter with weather. And for this one episode only, I'm going to actually be raising money not for Child's Play charity, but for the American Red Cross. Especially with Irma, I used to live down in Florida when I was working on the Obama campaign back in 2012. A lot of friends down there, a lot of folks really came through for me, made sure I had shelter when I was stuck down there after the election during Hurricane Sandy when I couldn't return back to New York. So I'm, paying them back. So yes, this time around, money for the American Red Cross. Link down in the description below will bring you directly to the Red Cross website. Okay, so I skipped a little bit from episode 2. Up on the tower, and I've already gotten my 3 maps, or my 3 shrines pinned. Today I'm going to be doing that first one that's really close, that one over there. I have marked in blue. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to try and get down and not die again. Alright, I'm going to start telling stories after I get down and, not dead. I'll go up here. I see I've improved dramatically. Alright, onwards. So I guess a good story to start with is I'm a huge weather buff. Like, I'm that kind of guy who's like, oh, it's a thunderstorm, let me just go outside and run around in the rain. And, not get struck by lightning. And so back in high school, actually I managed to finagle myself into a summer internship at a local university nearby where I grew up with their weather department. And what they had me do is they had a whole new software system. They were using this radar satellite, kind of compiles all this information and had 3D modeling and all this. This was quite some time ago. I'm sure 3D modeling is pretty common now, modern day. And yeah, so I was they just had me kind of futz around with it, learn as many tricks as I could, get as many views as possible, and eventually teach this guy, this professor I was working under, how to use it. And so I was fooling around, and I was playing with the all these settings, and I noticed that on the radar it looked like there was a poke echo, which is indicative of a tornado, for those who are not completely familiar with meteorological terms. And so, I go to this professor, I'm like, hey, there's like a very clear hook echo. And he goes like, no, that can't possibly be. And so he calls up the National Weather Service office over at Brookhaven National Labs. And sure enough, they're like, oh yeah, no, we noticed that. And they issue a tornado warning. It was the Tarrytown tornado of like 2006 or something. And yeah, so that was the time I discovered a tornado. A BTFO here. Oh, sweet. Alright, the shrine. Those guys. Alright, so I kind of did a little bit of reading ahead this time, because the whole blind playthrough's not the best idea I've ever had. So I know that this is the bomb shrine. And of course, can't think of bombs without thinking of Transformers. Like the electronic type, not the giant robot type. Sorry to disappoint, Beryl. There was this one transformer in my neighborhood, and I grew up like right down the road from Connor, the other Rupeethoner, and there was just one impossible fucking transformer. It exploded like every week. Of course, the original time it got damaged was in some thunderstorm like about 10 years ago. But the final time before they replaced it was during Hurricane Irene. And probably like 3 in the morning, we had kept power for quite a bit of the storm. And then, of course, this just earth-shattering kaboom wakes us all up at like 2:30 in the morning, and power goes out. And yeah, okay, it's that stupid transformer. But the real kicker for that was, power's out three days or whatever it was. They were repairing all the lines. They go to set it back up, and I guess it was just so many people running generators or something that as soon as the electricity gets to the transformer, it exploded again. So I think they did eventually replace it, only to have it destroyed the next year during Sandy. Alright, so remote bombs. Force of the blast can be used to damage monsters, destroy objects, both round and cube bombs. So use whichever fits the situation. Alright. We'll go ahead and use a cube bomb here. Oh. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to activate my remote bomb. Open it here. And then I'll detonate my flash. Fantastic! Alright, while I'm doing this, I'm going to switch weapons. I put purple arms. Yeah, so I actually completely missed Hurricane Sandy. I was down in Florida working, as I mentioned earlier, on the Obama campaign. And the night of Sandy, like, we were getting pictures of Lower Manhattan was flooding, and nearby where I grew up, the little downtown area had also not been doing particularly great. And it was under something like 3 or 4 feet of water just from the storm surge. And of course, like everyone was trying to conserve battery, but I couldn't get in touch with anyone for like 12 hours. And this was like during the very, very height of like the get out and vote for the campaign. Like the real high time. Early voting had started in Florida already. Let's see what I got here. So I'm gonna go spot my mom. Oh, that went so fantastically. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's get up. Oh, yeah, there we go. And so, I mean, I was like alone running this event. It was like a 12-hour ordeal of making sure people were getting to the polls, that no like fuckery going on and cheating and all that. And I just ended up like so overwhelmed that I get back to the office and I'm like, I'm just dead. Like I hadn't heard from my parents in probably 7-8 hours. Most of my friends had obviously turned off the phone, let me know. But it was just like that kind of level of concern, and seeing all the pictures of the initial flooding. And a lot of these folks down in Florida, who is, was a very, very, obviously extraordinarily stressful situation. Like being on a campaign, working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week if you're lucky. It was often closer to 15. Yeah. Not helpful. And and then it was so easy to like kind of forget that you're working with anyone, especially very much later in the campaign when you're stuck with these people for your entire life. Like you do not leave that office unless you're on a field, at one of the neighborhood events. and like still people would like came like there was a handful of people who came in and were like, hey, handed me some beers, wine, other objects to forget my troubles, and just really kind of took care of me because they knew how ridiculously stressful hurricanes can be. Obviously, it's Florida; they get quite a few of them, and that's why I'm dedicating this episode to the Red Cross, because they're going to need every ounce of help they can get. Recording this before the storm hit, so I'm not entirely sure exactly how bad it's going to be, but it looks to be pretty not great. So, yeah, turn off the talking so I can go ahead and figure out this puzzle. Haha! Oh, that was actually probably done. Because I figured it out. So I'm just an amazing super genius like Kanye West. I can watch myself. I totally can get in that box. Alright, some more stupid weather stories. Yeah. There's one, I think there ended up actually being a tornado associated with this thunderstorm, but it was mostly just a really bad thunderstorm. And I think I mentioned in the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Let's Play, there was this sand mine that was like the cool place to hang out, because it was kind of a very rural area. And we used to go down there and play Airsoft. And so we decided, like, we knew there was thunderstorms in the forecast, and we could kind of hear the rumbling. We were like, hey, we're going to get out a game as quickly as possible. So we all get up, set up, and, go into our various hiding spots, set the teams, and it starts pouring. And then the wind starts to pick up, and lightning starts going off. And it was pretty frequent lightning. It was probably like once every 30 seconds. And it was also pitch black out because it was the dead of night. Really? Did I beat this entire thing already? No. Okay. Gotta be more to this than that. Come on, you have to fight one of the squid robots. But yeah, it just got to the point where we're wandering around, and then every time there was lightning, you'd see, everyone else just hanging out on the various parts of this open field for the sand mine. And it was like a movie, because then of course the lightning would go off, and then your eyes would not adjust to the darkness, and so you could move, but you had no idea like who was coming or what, and then lightning would flash, and you're like, oh, you're like 10 feet closer to everyone else. And I think we ended up just calling it quits, because we were just soaked, and none of the shots were going off in a good direction. Oh, thank you, Baba Yaga. Alright, so that was that temple. It did not take very long at all. So, yes, thank you all for indulging me in my stories, and this is going to require quite a bit of editing. But yes, thank you all for indulging my stories, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.